Okay, so in this video, I'm going to make an object that the player can pick up. As soon as the player picks up this object, he's going to go into a different state where he's hovering above the ground and he can throw fireballs. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to create the object in which the player can pick up. So I'm going to create a 2D sprite square, and the name of it is going to be Wrath Token. And the scale of it is going to be 0.2. And under my objects folder, I've created I created some sprites. So I already made them 48 pixels per unit. Filter mode, point no filter, and compression none. And after you set all those, you have to press apply. But I already did that. So for the time being, I'm going to give this an image. So that's what the token looks like. It's not really a token, it's more like a stone, sort of like a relic that sort of like floats and like spins. I'm going to add Box Collider 2D. It's going to be a trigger, so I have to check that. And I'm going to temporarily move it down so that I can see what I'm doing with the Box Collider. I'm going to resize it. Reposition it. I'm going to make the Box Collider nice and small so that the player really has to enter this space in order to pick it up or in order to be possessed by it. So I'm going to move this back to where it was. The reason why I'm keeping it 0, 0, 0 in the position is because I'm going to create a prefab. And if you don't know what a prefab is, basically as soon as you take any of these objects and drag and drop it into a folder like this, it turns it into a prefab. What's good about prefab is that this object now can be used in any level. And if it's a prefab, it shows up as a blue object in the hierarchy. Anything that's white is not a prefab, so those objects can only be used within whatever level you're working on at the moment. But if I want to create prefabs out of any of this, all I have to do is drag and drop them into whatever folder that I've created. So with that done, I have to create animations. So in the animation tab, first of all, right now I'm just in a regular mode where I'm looking into the scene, but if I double click the Wrath token, I can go into another I guess like viewport where I'm just looking at nothing but the object. So if you want to make any changes to that object, then it's better to do it within this viewport. If you want to toggle back to the scene, all you have to do is go here and click on the scene. And then to go back into the object, you double click the object. But for now, I'm going to go back to the scene, select the Wrath token, and create some animations. Actually, I'd better do it here. I'm going to do it inside the Wrath token. So I'm going to create, go into whatever folder that you created, and I'm going to call this Wrath token idle. So in order to grab those animations, I'm going to bring up the project window up here. And I'm going to drag and drop these here. And I want this to be half a second long. So if I play through it, you can see it spin. Okay, so that's good. I'm going to throw this project tab here. Now I have to create a script for the Wrath token. Actually, first I need to go into the player script, the player movement script. I'm going to do some work in there real quick. So first what I want to do is I want to create a float, private float. I'm going to call it Wrath amount, and it's going to be set to 0 by default. Oops. Okay. The public void. Oh, at the very bottom, I'm going to create a method. Public void Wrath up. And in this function, Wrath amount, which is the float that I just created, is going to be set to 3. So by default, private float Wrath amount, the default value is 0, but this Wrath amount is going to be set to 3 whenever this method is triggered, and it's going to be triggered by the Wrath token script that I'm about to create. So I'm going to go back into my objects folder, and there I have a scripts folder, and I'm going to create a C# script. It's going to be called Wrath token script, and I'm going to drag and drop that. Oops. I want to open it up first, actually. Go back here. With the Wrath token selected, I'm going to drag and drop it, drag and drop the script into the object, just so I don't forget. Oh, I need to go into the animator, and there's a Wrath token idle. This animation was created when I created the this animation down here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete it, and I'm going to create a new blend tree. This one's going to be called let's call it idle. I'm going to go into it, select the blend tree, add one motion field, and to that I'm going to add Wrath token idle. And when I select the Wrath token, as you can see, it's already added to the animator. So in the Wrath token script, I am going to use player movement script so that I can access the player movement. Public void on trigger enter 2D. You have to remember to put in 2D. And this one I want to call other. So you have to remember it has to say on trigger enter 2D and collider 2D. If it doesn't have 2D, it automatically assumes it's looking for something that's 3D, but that's not what we want. It's not going to work if we don't take care of that little detail. And inside that, I'm going to put if other game object dot tag equals player, then other dot game object dot get component player movement Wrath. And I'm also going to destroy game object. Okay. So basically what's happening here is whenever the player collides with this box collider, and the thing that this collides with is tagged as a player. As you can see, if I go back here, player has a player tag. So whenever it collides with the player, it's going to trigger the Wrath up method in the player movement script. So it's pointing to this player movement script and it's triggering this. So as soon as this is triggered, it's going to set the Wrath amount to 3. At the same time, the token is going to be destroyed as soon as the player collides with it. So with that done, I'm going to go back. Okay, so back in Unity, I'm going to go select my player, and I'm going to go into the animator. And first I need to create some animations. First animation, create new clip, go back into the proper folder, main character, animations, Unity. I want to call this one Wrath Up. So first I have to select all the new animations, make pixels per unit 48, filter mode, point no filter, and compression to none, apply. While I'm here, I might as well do the same for one of the henchman animations. So go into cropped. So I've got 4 of these drawings where he gets hit. Same deal, pixels per unit 48, point no filter, compression none, apply. Okay, so in this Wrath Up animation, I have to I'm going to drag and drop these. And this is going to be 1 second, so I'm going to drag it to 1 second. And if I play through, that's what he looks like. And he's just hovering there. So that's when he picks up the token. And I need to create one more animation. This one's going to be called Wrath Shoot. And that one's going to be these 4 animations. It's going to be half a second long. This is what it looks like he shoots. So with that done, I'm going to throw this back here. With the player selected, I'm going to hop into the animator. As you can see, Wrath Up and Wrath Shoot were created in the animator. But the Wrath Up, I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to create another blend tree. This one's going to be called Wrath Up. So when it created the original Wrath Up, it just created just the animation, but this one has the blend tree in it. So if I go in here, I need to create a motion field, and I just need to find the animation Wrath Up. So I'm going to make a transition for movement, and I want to make another transition the other way, and that one's going to be triggered when first I need to create a boolean called Wrath Up, and I'll create a trigger called Shoot Wrath. So for movement, it goes to Wrath Up when first I'm going to uncheck has exit time. I'm going to select Wrath Up. So whenever Wrath Up is true, then it's going to go here. As soon as it's set to false, first I need to deselect has exit time. Shoot Wrath. Oh, not Shoot Wrath. Wrath Up. When this is set to false, then this fires back. And from here, I'm going to create a transition to Shoot Wrath. So This one plays when the shoot wrath trigger is triggered. So this one's on a boolean, it's a trigger, and this one goes back automatically. So in this case, I keep has exit time, so I don't uncheck that. So and I don't need any conditions. It just when the trigger is triggered once, it goes here, then boom, goes back. So with that set up, I've got to go back into the player movement script. So now when this is set to 3, whenever he collides with the token and this is set to 3, then that's when a bunch of things can happen. But first, I'm going to change some things. First, for running, I have the left mouse button, but I'm going to change that to the right mouse button, which is 1. But the right mouse button at the moment is set for crouching, but I'm going to change that to the middle mouse button because I want the left mouse button to be the shooting button. So left is shooting, right is running, and the middle mouse is crouching. In the update function, where am I? Okay, within the update function, okay, so it's down here. So if wrath amount is greater than 0, then animator dot set bool wrath up is true. Else if wrath amount is smaller or equal to 0, then animator dot set bool wrath up is false. So first I'm going to go in and this works first. Make sure everything's in place. So I've got the token here, the player's here. If I hit play, so I have to make sure that the right mouse button is running, middle mouse button is crouching. Okay, that works fine. As soon as I enter, there we go. So if I press the run button, it just moves faster. So I don't have any separate animations for running or just regular speed. Just tried to make it easy for myself and just do one animation for both walking speed and running speed. So that looks fine. So I'm going to go back into the player movement script, and right below whatever I just typed in, I'm going to put if input dot get mouse button down 0, which is the left mouse button, and wrath amount is greater than 0, then wrath amount minus equals 1. So I'm deducting 1, a value of 1. And animator dot set trigger shoot wrath. So what happens here is I can press this button as long as the wrath amount value is greater than 0. I can press this. If I press it 3 times, then it sets the wrath amount to 0, and once that's 0, then he goes back into just regular standing idle animation. But if it's greater than 0, the wrath amount is greater than 0, just say it's 3, then I can shoot 3 times before it's set to 3, or before it's set to 0. So I'm going to make sure that works. Okay. He runs. Okay, now he's in wrath mode. So if I press the shoot button, he shoots once, twice, 3 times, and then he's back. So I made it so that when he shoots 3 times, then he loses his wrath. Okay, so that done, I'm going to go select the player. I'm going to zoom into him, pressing F. And there's a couple things that I want to do, I need to add. Okay, so under the player, I need to create an empty object called FirePoint. And I'm going to put it first. I want to I'm going to wrap up, and I want this FirePoint to be roughly right here. So whenever he's at this point in the animation, I want the fireball to be instantiated from this FirePoint. So title, so in the update function, or sorry, in the player movement script, I need to create a public game object called fireball and public transform called FirePoint, which is the point in which the fireball is instantiated. So back in the last piece of script that I did, when the mouse button is pressed, as soon as the mouse button is pressed, I'm going to instantiate or spawn the fireball. So I instantiate the fireball from the fire point position in the fire point rotation whenever the mouse button is pressed and the wrath amount is greater than 0. Gotta go back into Unity. I'm going to create a sprite. I'm going to create a square. I'm going to call it fireball. For the time being, I'll give it this as an image. Fireball has to be 0.2 in scale to match the player, and I need to set the transform to 0 because I am going to create a prefab, and then I do that by dragging and dropping as before. So I'm going to go into Fireball, Animation, Create Animation, go to the right folder, I'll call this Fireball. And this one's only half a second long, so if I play it, that's what it looks like. So I'm going to go into the animator, and it creates a fireball animation, but I'm going to delete that. I'm going to create a blend tree. So create state from new blend tree. Let's call this fireball. Double click, click on blend tree, add one motion field, and select fireball. So that's pretty much it for that. And the fireball needs a box collider. Fireball, make sure it's a box collider 2D. It's a trigger, so check the box and resize it. I don't know if you can see, but there's a circle here, so I'm going to try and make the box fit within that circle. That's good enough. And I have to create a fireball script. Before I do that, I'm going to go back into scenes, and the player. If you remember in the player script I created game object fireball and fire point. So the fire point is underneath the player, so I just drag and drop that here. The fireball is in prefabs, so whatever folder you put it in, and just drag and drop it. that done. I'm actually going to go back into Fireball. Under scripts, we're going to create a script called Fireball. And open it up. And we'll go back. With the Fireball selected, I'm going to drag and drop. Whoops. Go to the bottom and drag and drop it, just so I don't forget later. And the Fireball script, I am going to be using henchman movement script. But before I do that, I need to go into the henchman script and create a namespace. So namespace henchman movement script. And when you create a namespace, if you don't remember, you have to the entire script has to be within brackets underneath the namespace. So namespace and then that. And go back into the Fireball script. Using henchman script in the update function, I'm going to put transform dot position plus equals vector 2 forward times I'm not even sure if this is going to work. This only it's only vector 3. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work, but we'll see. Times, oops, time dot delta time times, and we'll put 10f for the speed. So whenever this is instantiated, it's moving forward. But this is a 2D object, but I'm not sure if this is vector 3 is going to work, so I'm just going to try it out for now. So we'll go back to scenes. So this Fireball I can delete because this player, the Fireball is referencing the one in the prefabs folder, so I don't need to have it anywhere in the actual scene. So if I play it, so I'm going to grab this token. I'm in Fireball in Wrath mode. So if I press fire, okay, it instantiates. But it's not moving forward. Try that once more. So it's the fireballs are not moving, and for some reason, if I do it here, if I fire here, the go behind the building for some reason. Okay, so I'm just going to check something. Not sure why it's doing that. So in order to make this work, I'm going to have to add some stuff. I want to steal some stuff from a different script for a different game that I made. Right now, the script that makes the fireball move is this transform.position plus equals transform.right times time.delta time times speed. So it's the transform right. It wasn't the vector 3 or vector 2. But the problem with this is that it only goes right. So I'm going to using player movement script. I am going to create so I'm looking for a player movement, which is this script, and I'm going to name it player movement script. And I guess I have to create public game object player. The update player movement script equals player dot get component player movement. Oops. So I'm going to create a variable called, so the player movement script, I have a boolean that says is facing right, which is by default set to false because when the game starts he's facing left. So I'm going to create a boolean called player is facing right, and player is facing right is constantly going to be, because it's in the update function and the update is constantly being triggered, the player is facing right boolean is going to constantly be set to the value of player movement script dot is facing right. Why is this not? Oh, I have to make this public so that if it's not public, then this Fireball script's not going to recognize it. So this player is facing right is constantly being set to this is facing right. So if is facing right equals true, I'll have to change this to player is facing right equals true. Copy and paste that. Else if he's not facing right, in other words, if he's facing left, then transform.position plus equals transform left. Oh no, sorry. There is no such thing as left. There's only the speed is minus. So the direction in which it's moving should be the opposite in the opposite situations, but the other thing that I have to do is I need to flip it. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. So what I'm doing is I'm creating a vector 3, which is basically a variable local scale equals transform.local scale. If is facing right, then local scale I've got to think about this for a second. I can erase that. So the player leaves left, local scale is positive, and when he's facing right, local scale is negative. So if the fireball is facing right, the local scale has to be negative, and if it's facing left, then local scale has to be positive. So this, take away the minus sign. So cross my fingers and hope this works. So if I hit play, grab my token, if I shoot, it's not working. once more. Wait a minute, I forgot the fireball. I have to reference the player. Okay, so I got it to work now. Basically, I had to move a bunch of stuff from this update method all the way up to the start function. The first change that I made, originally I had it so that I would reference the player by dragging and dropping the player into this field right here. But it's kind of hard to do when this fireball is a prefab and the player is not yet a prefab. I could make the player a prefab, and it's probably a good idea to do it, but I haven't done it yet. So instead of using that method, I decided to use this line of code right here. And the reason why I put everything in the start method is because all this stuff I wanted to do just at the beginning. Because if I put everything down here, the local scale is constantly changes. The local scale as well as the direction constantly changes as the player changes direction. So that includes the scale, like whether the fireball is facing left or right, but also the movement, because if player is facing right, if player is facing right is equal to true, then the fireball is moving right. But because if this this piece of script was in the update function, then it would constantly update with regards to what direction the player is moving. So the direction in which the fireball is moving would also change as the player changes, which is not what we want. We want it to, once the fireball is shot, then we want it to continue in that direction. So first line of code, I'm referencing the player, even though it's a public game object. I'm just going to keep this field empty and reference it by getting game object dot find with tag player. So whatever object has the tag player is the player. The player movement script is the player, and the component player movement, which is the script. So this variable player is facing right is equal to the is facing right variable here. So it only sets that value, this value, once at the beginning. It's not constantly updating. So the flip of the fireball by default is facing right. So if the facing right is equal to true, then the local scale dot x is one positive one. If it's left, if it's facing left, then the x value is times equals minus 1. So that's pretty straightforward. It only all this stuff only sets when the fireball is instantiated. So if I go play now, I'm going to run over, grab this. So if I shoot to the left, then fireball goes to the left. If I'm aiming right, if I once again go this way, then that's it. It just keeps going in whatever direction. Before it just say I shot right now, then the fireball would go, and as soon as I turned around, then the fireball would start going in that direction. That's why I put everything in the start function. So that's all good now. So I'm happy with that. Next thing that I need to do is the very bottom, public void on trigger enter 2D. It automatically does this, but I want this to be called other. If other dot game object dot tag equals enemy. First I need to go back. I don't think the enemy has an enemy tag, so I'm going to go to henchman. So there's no tag here, it's untagged. So I'm going to go here, add tag, press the plus button, call it enemy, save. So if I hit the henchman again, down here, select enemy. So if the other game object dot tag equals enemy, then other dot game object dot get dot take hit, and then destroy game object. So as soon as it hits an enemy, it's going to destroy the game object. The reason why this is red is because I haven't created the method yet. So I'm going to go into the henchman movement script, the henchman script, very bottom. I'm going to create public void take hit. So basically what's happening is as soon as on trigger enter, as soon as it collides with any part with the tag enemy, then it's going to go into that script and trigger this method, and it's going to destroy itself. The fireball is going to destroy itself. So in that, within this method, as soon as this henchman gets hit by the fireball, all I need to do is animator dot set trigger take hit. But I haven't created the animations yet for that, so I'm going to compile that for now. Go back into Unity. And with the henchman selected, I'm going to go into animation. I'm going to create a new clip. Go to the right folder, animation, call it take hit. And the take hit animation, so it's these four here. Drop those. The whole entire animation is half a second, so try it out. I want to make sure. So this is what the hit looks like. That's it. And I'm going to go to the animator. It automatically created this hit animation. So I just need to create a trigger. I'm going to call it take hit. So I'm going to make a transition to the animation and make a transition back. And when this is triggered, it's going to go this way. I'll check has exit time. The condition take hit. And then as soon as it, once this is triggered once, it goes this way. The animation plays and automatically it goes back. So here I don't have to change anything. Just leave has exit time. So I think that's it. So I'm in wrap mode. It is not. Oh, I think I might know why. To prefabs. Select the fireball. I'm not sure why that's not working. Okay, let me try once more. So he's if I shoot. Okay, so the fireball is being destroyed. As you can see, it's not going past him. So that means that the game object is being destroyed. But for some reason, this animation is not being played. Animator, take hit. Oh, I know why. I have it being it's being triggered by the wrong place. I have it coming from Duke's Up. It should have been coming from. Oh, you know what? There's actually nothing wrong with that. I have to do both. From a regular state and the state where he has his Duke's Up. So same deal. Take hit. And on the way back, nothing changes, just has exit time. So if he's just standing there, takes a hit. But just say he's moving towards me, takes a hit. Oh, beautiful. Okay, Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut it off here. I think that was pretty good. Everything works well. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that, and please stay tuned for more videos. Okay, thanks.